Good morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's time to grab a cup of joe and enjoy the show. On today's show, I am taking you inside of Bookter Cynic Law Office and having a very informative conversation with their owner about how personal injury law works and what's the first thing you should do when you get in an accident. Then it's Women's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and Caleb is joining me to break down donor-advised funds. And we have never tackled this subject before, so I'm so excited to learn more. And later, we have a new set of epic discounts at epic prices. That and more happening now.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment sponsored by Bookter Cynic. I am here at Bookter and Cynic Law Office, which is Indiana's injury attorneys. They have been serving this community for over 15 years, and today I'm going to sit down with their owner, learn more about their services, and when it's best to give them a call. Let's do it. Joining me now is Robert Bookter, who is the owner and attorney here at Bookter Cynic. Hello.
Hi, Jessica.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Very nice to meet you.
You as well. I'm really excited to learn more about your law firm and just really the way that you have been supporting this community for so long. So first off, you're about to hit 16 years. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, how does that feel?
It's awesome. So we've been practicing here in Fort Wayne for about 16 years. I've been a lawyer for about 22 years.
Wow.
We are a boutique law firm, and we specialize in serious injuries and accidents. That's all we do, day in and day out. We fight the insurance company. We're very aggressive in what we do in building up our cases and prosecuting them to maximize the recovery for our clients.
Yeah, I love that because we need someone to fight for us, especially because accidents happen and it's so unexpected. So kind of share with us a little bit of the types of accidents that people may encounter where they would need your services.
So we handle everything from auto accidents to motorcycle accidents to semi-truck accidents, boating accidents, essentially any type of negligence that results in injury we handle. We focus on serious injuries, so wrongful death claims, product liability claims, where there's a product that's defective that results in amputation or serious injury to somebody. We handle all of those types of claims.
Yeah, and I think about just so much that happens at a job, for example,
Yes.
like slip and falls and things like that. And so at what point does someone really decide that they need to seek you out for services throughout that accident process?
Well, it depends on the severity of the accident. And so if you're in a serious injury situation where you've been seriously injured, for example, in a car accident or a trucking accident, it's always best that you have counsel representing you from the very beginning. One of the most important aspects of our representation in the beginning is preserving the evidence. I don't know how many times the at-fault driver will admit liability, apologize for the accident, and then when we cannot get the case resolved with the insurance company and we have to file a lawsuit, all of a sudden they're denying liability. But if we do our job in preserving the evidence, doing an inspection of the vehicles, an inspection at the scene, hiring an accident reconstructionist if necessary, we will build up that case so that we have the evidence to prove in front of the jury if the case needs to go that far.
Wow. So what it sounds like is as soon as the accident happened to contact you.
Yes.
First call.
And the other thing that's always good to do is if you're able, if you're not, sometimes you're incapacitated at the scene of an accident.
Right,
And so obviously the most important thing is your well-being. You want to seek medical treatment, call 911. But if you're able to, again, you want to take photographs of the property damage. You want to take photographs of the scene of the collision, of the parties involved, of the license plates, the property damage both inside and outside. And again, that's just so that we can preserve the evidence on the claim. And then the next step would be to call me, and then I'll go to bat for you and seek to preserve any evidence In the at-fault driver's vehicle, for example, we will seek to preserve the black box data, which is very important. That can tell speed and whether the person tried to avoid the accident, steer left or steer right, whether they applied the brakes and things of that nature.
Yeah, and I know a characteristic of your business, as you said, is being aggressive. Why is it so important to fight so hard on behalf of your client?
Because the insurance companies love to nickel and dime injured clients. That's their goal, is to pay you the least amount of money on the claim. Our goal is to maximize your recovery, to make you a fair recovery. We only seek what's fair.
Yeah.
The insurance company, however, they seek to try to deny, delay, and defend claims to minimize their exposure on the case.
Right.
I'm a former insurance defense lawyer, and that's one of the great attributes that I have, is that I used to work for insurance companies, and so I know how they treat people.
Interesting, yeah.
And I know how they, and their strategies that they use to delay, deny, and defend claims. I use all of that to my advantage to aggressively prosecute the case on behalf of our clients to maximize their recoveries.
Wow, I love that. That's a nice crossover nugget and specialty that you
Yes.
bring. So what would you say would be a big misconception that sometimes people have when it comes to dealing with a personal injury attorney?
Well, everybody says that we're ambulance chasers.
Okay.
And I'm not. I don't chase any ambulances. Our clients, the majority of clients that we have are from past referrals from very happy clients that we've successfully represented and fought for. And we pride ourselves on that. I do a lot of advertising on TV, on billboards, on social media, but the biggest source of our clientele comes from past clients who were very happy with our services and understood that we were there really and truly to fight for them all along the way to obtain them the best recovery possible.
Yeah.
And so that would probably be the biggest misconception, is that we're out there chasing ambulances and we're just here to make a quick dollar. We represent people that have been wronged, that are victims, that have been seriously injured, and their lives, a lot of times in those instances, have changed forever. They'll have a disability, they'll lose their job, they won't be able to work, they won't be able to provide for their families. And so we step in and we fight for them to recover those elements of damages that they lost due to somebody else's negligence.
Yeah, and one way I can tell that you really do care about your clients is how your policy is set up when it comes to, they don't pay until they win, right?
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Our fee is strictly based on if we win. And so if we do not make you recovery, you owe us absolutely nothing. We advance all the costs associated with the case. And so costs to filing fee to get into court, we pay. Deposition costs we advance. Any experts that we believe are necessary to maximize the recovery, we'll retain those experts. And some experts can be very expensive. Engineering experts, medical experts, accident reconstructionists. A lot of times those bills will run into the tens of thousands of dollars. And we will advance all of those costs, and unless we make a recovery for the client, they would owe us absolutely nothing.
Wow, that's great. And so I think something that's really important for people to remember is that they have to kind of be proactive in this relationship with you, right? So basically, like, save your number in their phone, because the last thing anyone wants to do is when an accident happened, try to search and find, you. So save your number and then call you first, right?
And I have a very easy number to remember, 420-HURT.
Okay.
4878 420-HURT.
Yeah.
And so if you just dial that number, we're here for you. We'll be there for any potential clients. Our office phones are answered 24/7. And I get that call. I've taken calls at 3 a.m. in the morning,
Wow.
for example, in a bad trucking accident where I had to, at 3 a.m., get on the phone with my accident reconstructionist and dispatch him to the scene of a horrific accident. And so we take calls all day long, and we're always there for our clients.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Robert. It was
My
a pleasure.
My pleasure. Very nice to meet you.
And if you would like more information about Bookter and Sinek, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Bookter Sinek.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to another edition of Women's Wealth Wednesday with Foster Financial, and I'm so excited to be joined by Caleb Doan, their Vice President. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so I'm excited because we're talking about something that we haven't talked about before, and it's all about donor-advised contributions.
Donor-advised funds, yeah.
Donor-advised funds. Okay, first off, what are those?
Yeah, so it's basically an investment account where you contribute to it. It can be invested in the meantime, and then from that donor-advised fund, you can make donations to specific charities.
Okay, so you say it's invested. Where do those funds go? Because I know we talk a lot about retirement accounts and funds going to IRAs and stocks and bonds and all that. Where does this fund sit?
Yeah, so this would be a fund that somebody opens up with their financial advisor or just directly with a certain custodian like Charles Schwab or Fidelity.
Okay.
But a donor-advised fund, it's something that it's not through your employer. This is through you individually as an investor. And essentially, it's a way for you to be really strategic about your donations and even get some tax advantages there too. So a couple of the main advantages of a donor-advised fund is that you can donate stock into a donor-advised fund. And when you do that, if it has capital gains on it that you would otherwise have had to pay taxes on, if you donate it into the donor-advised fund and then sell it, you don't owe anything in capital gains. So it can be a good way to kind of avoid some capital gains tax that you otherwise would have had to pay.
So when you say donate it and then sell it, you're saying that you can donate the stocks into this donor-advised fund and not have to donate the stock after you put in the donation account?
Yeah, once it's in the donor-advised fund, technically it's been donated at that point, and it's sitting in that fund. You cannot then turn around and pull it back and put it in your account. It needs to go to a charity from then on out. We typically use this strategy for clients who are already donating a certain amount to their church or a charity or nonprofit organization, and then they have this highly appreciated stock that they would otherwise have to pay capital gains on. So, maybe somebody's donating 20 grand a year to their church, and they're just donating it from their checking account. Of course, that's what most people do.
Right.
Well, they might have this $20,000 worth of Apple stock in their brokerage account. Well, what we could do is donate that Apple stock if it has long-term capital gains, put that in the donor-advised fund, and then sell it, use that to give to your church, and then use the money that you were otherwise giving to the church from the checking account and put that in your brokerage account, and then repurchase Apple stock. Therefore, you don't have any capital gains on it. The church still gets the same amount. You've still donated the same amount. We've really just kind of cut Uncle Sam out of the picture there a little bit without having to pay the capital gains. And anytime we can save money on taxes, we certainly like to do that.
Okay, that's so cool. Okay, so of course the capital gain is the amount that you started off, what you gained in interest since you put that money there, that in between. So if you started off putting $5,000 in Apple stock, you turn around and have $20,000 now. That's a $15,000 capital gain that people typically would have to pay a fee. So either 15% on average for that capital gain. So wow. So if you think about 15% of $15,000, that's a lot. So you're saying take that Apple stock, boom, put in a donor-advised account, sell it, you can give that whole $20,000 away without paying a cent of capital gain taxes. Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it's pretty easy. I mean, it's simple to process.
Right. Yeah. It's just kind of the money just takes an extra little pit stop there in a certain account, and then you don't have to pay the capital gains stock. And then kind of the second part of it is the people might say, well, I wanted to keep that Apple stock. I expected it to continue growing, and so I still want that. And that's where we just take that 20 grand from your checking account that you otherwise would have donated to the church, and you put it back into the brokerage account, you rebuy the Apple stock, but now your kind of cost basis on that Apple stock is 20 grand. You paid 20 grand for it now. So if, in a year you wanted to turn around and sell it and there wasn't any gain on it, you wouldn't owe anything in taxes. So that's what we talk about, kind of resetting your cost basis. You're resetting your purchase amount for that certain stock, and therefore it doesn't have any capital gains on it.
But you know how sometimes stock prices go up and down. So is there a chance, like when you bought that stock at the 5,000 and now you're going back to buy it at the 20,000, that is going to cost you more for the value if Apple stock went up?
Well, if let's say you bought 10 shares of Apple back in the day and it cost $5,000. It's not actually what it would, but let's just say for easy math, you bought 10 shares, those 10 shares grew to be worth $20,000. We donate the 10 shares over to the donor advised fund, give that to the church, and then you take 20 grand and buy those exact same 10 shares. So you still end up with the exact same amount of shares in the end.
Oh, so you're like buying it from yourself. So you haven't okay. I think I was thinking if you sell it under the donor advised, do you lose those shares?
Oh, gotcha.
And then you have to repurchase them, and then the Apple stock could be higher. So now you might have gotten it for 5,000 before, but now 10 shares will cost you 20,000 now.
Gotcha. No, yeah, we do the donation and the repurchase kind of at the same time, so that you're paying the same amount for those shares there. So
that's really cool.
So really, I mean, in the end, you end up avoiding capital gains is kind of the end result there, which is a really nice benefit for people. And the nice thing, when you put money into the donor advised fund, you get to write it off on your taxes in the year that you put the money in there. So, let's say you only typically donate to the church $10,000 a year. Well, we could still move $20,000 into the donor advised fund, and then you get to have a deduction of $20,000 on your taxes in that year if you're itemizing. But you could donate to the church over 2 or 3 years within the donor advised fund. It's not like it all has to come out immediately. You have the ability to donate over time in that fund.
That's interesting. Okay, so who qualifies for one of these accounts? Is there a specific age range and loops?
Right. Yeah, no, this account is pretty wide open. So really anyone can do it. You don't have to be over a certain age. You don't have to be retired or anything like that. Anybody can use this. So we have young people, retired people, working people. Anyone can use the donor advised fund, but of course it's most advantageous for the people who are already donating a certain amount, right? So it's a good way to save on capital gains.
Yeah, and then is there a minimum or max that you can have in that account or that you can donate at one time?
It's a good question.
1 year?
Yeah, within 1 year, there are certain kind of maximums on how much stock you can donate and how much cash you can donate as a percentage of your adjusted gross income. They're relatively high, so people typically don't end up hitting those. But we're always strategic with clients to make sure that we're kind of staying under those certain maximums.
Okay, but there's no minimum.
No minimum. Yeah.
All right, very cool. Thank you so much, Caleb.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial or really need help walking through your financial portfolio, then Foster Financial is the perfect choice. We'll actually put their contact information below so that you can give them a call, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Welcome to Epic Discounts by BestReviews.com. I'm Melissa Bergamini.
And I'm Jacob Palmer.
Be sure to take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen so you can save on some amazing products. First up, let's talk about something that will make your furry friend's day, the Paw Sync Automatic Pet Feeder.
And if you're someone who's outside of the house often, or you simply have a busy schedule, this is a game changer. This sleek, easy to use feeder allows you to schedule your pet's meals for the day, and you can control it even from your smartphone. It's got a really solid app, ensuring your pet gets their meals on time, every time.
I know my dog Louie, he will love that. It is designed with a portion control feature, so no more overfeeding because, as we know, your pet's health is in your hands even when you're not at home. Next, for parents on the go, we've got the Hiccup Pop Blackout Tent for pack and play.
And if your little one is like mine and a light sleeper and you've ever struggled with nap time while traveling, which can be so hard because you can't control the windows, this is the solution you've been waiting for. This blackout tent is lightweight and portable. It's so easy to set up, and all you have to do is simply drape it over your pack and play to create a dark environment no matter where you are.
Yeah, as you said, this is perfect for nap time, and it helps with the noise, giving them a peaceful place to have some sleep. Now, for all of you music lovers out there, we have the Samsung Samsung Galaxy Buds. I like these.
And these are a darling in the Best Reviews testing lab, Alyssa, because whether you're working out, commuting, or just enjoying some downtime, these earbuds deliver superior sound quality, deep bass, and an incredible built-in voice assistant. And the best part, they're comfortable, lightweight, and have a sleek design.
Yeah, they look very sleek, perfect for listening to music, podcasts, or hey, even calls on the go. And for all of you travel enthusiasts out there, I know there are a lot of you, let me introduce you to these expandable, foldable suitcases with wheels.
And so we're always looking for these things, aren't we, Alyssa? And these suitcases are not only durable and spacious, but they also fold down for easy storage when not in use. They expand so all of your essentials can fit in there, and they are so smooth maneuvering through the airport.
Yeah, I definitely need to pick up one of these. So whether you're heading on a weekend getaway or a long vacation, this is the perfect suitcase for you. Let's get a look at all 4 products one last time. Take out your phone and scan the QR code on your screen and get ready to scan, shop, and save with epic discounts by bestreviews.com.
Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, Nexstar. You can find more on the products and where to buy them on WANE.com.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group.
I hope you enjoyed this show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, you can always catch up on episodes and segments of Living Local 15 by going to WANE.com, downloading the WANE app, and also checking us out on YouTube. And I'll leave you with this. Dreams are meant to be followed. Risks are meant to be taken. Don't just dream about it, be about it. And I look forward to seeing you here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.